Well, my challenge is finding the time to write.
Amen,
right now,
sister.
because I work full time still. Because
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. We are at Authors in a Box in the Indian River Mall in Vero, Florida. We've been hosted all day long by our good friend, author Joanne Fisher, who's hanging with us right now.
Yeah.
And Joanne is the author of Good Things Always Happen in Springtime and Other in Sundry. There's more than just that. We'll cover it all as much as we can in our allotted time. Joanne, thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thanks for taking a minute. I know it's been a hectic day.
I know, it's been very hectic, but enjoyable.
Go from author behind the table to author, running the event. It's a huge undertaking.
It sure is.
And you really did a great job today.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you for having us in. Thank you for having all these fantastic authors in.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
It's been a good day. So let's talk about your writing career a little bit. When we talked
last year,
you were at the precipice of a great journey.
My first book.
That's right.
Last year.
With all of me. With all of me. And we talked about that. We talked about your plans for the future.
Right.
Now let's see this here. Come here.
All
Let's show them this. Let's show them this. This is a year, guys. All of you who have been sitting around thinking, maybe I'll write a book. From the first book, this is what Joanne has done this year. And we've had the privilege of her Spanish doll.
Right.
We've got to advertise this, and we've got to check this out online. Good Things Always Happen in the Springtime. And what are you, Traveling Boomers First Stop Italy. Ooh.
That's right. That's a nonfiction.
This is a travel guide kind of thing.
That is correct, yes. For baby boomers or whoever doesn't know how to travel, you're traveling for your first time, you don't know what to do, this is a really good book.
And First Stop Italy.
First Stop Italy.
Which is not a bad first stop, by the way.
Not a bad one.
Wow, by the way.
Thank you.
That's a lot of words.
Yes.
And I would ask you how the journey's going, but apparently you're hooked.
It's going
well. She's staying.
I am, yes, I am.
Yes, all right. Yeah. So, from that first book, leaping forward here, what was the biggest hurdle? What was the biggest challenge for you? Obviously, the first book, it goes out, and just like all of us, about 2 months later, you found out we weren't instant millionaires.
Yes, I knew that from the very start.
That's right. So, but once you got over that hurdle,
what
was the next challenge to getting going and just saying that I'm all in now? Because with 3 books this year, you're all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my challenge is finding the time to write.
Amen,
right now,
sister.
because I work full time still, because I do understand that you don't get rich overnight by becoming an author, but you're putting something out there that is going to be there forever. So still worth all the while and all the work. But that's my main challenge, is finding time to actually write.
Yeah. And just
that's it.
Put those words on paper.
Yes.
What's 3 books last year? What's coming up for 2019?
2019, we're going to have With All of Me Part 2, which if you read this book, you'll see that it kind of calls Part 2.
Yeah.
So that's coming up, and then I'm going to dabble in murder mystery next year. I have a really good story coming up. Yeah, it's kind of sort of based on a true story. But I'm gonna kill off a few people in there, so that's gonna be challenging for me.
That's what we do.
That's right.
It is, and it is.
Don't get me mad, because I'll kill you off.
That's right. I have named characters just so I could kill them off.
That's right.
They get names of people I don't like, and I'm like, you're gone. You're done.
Right. That's right.
I mean, you had no chance. I named you, and you should have just gone, oh, I'm gone now. So, okay, so. Author, solitary work. I know you work a lot with your husband and putting things together, editing and things.
Right.
Still very solitary work.
Yes.
Organizing. And I know, this is a great community, a very supportive community.
It's an awesome community.
But somebody has to stand in the middle and say, okay, throw things at me.
Yes.
What is wrong with you? You said me. I'll do it.
Nothing wrong with me. No. What
No.
happened was last year, Jamie Engel, as everybody knows, organized the first Authors in a Box, and she was really busy. She's getting very popular now. Yay! Happy for Jamie.
Yes.
Love her. Shout out to Jamie. So this year
Where
she kind of.
are you? You should be here with us, your people.
Anyway, so she's like, you know, I said, I want to see if I can find a venue for this event. Because I had a great time last year. I had a great time with you guys, with meeting all my fellow authors. It was awesome. I had a great time. And so I found a Vero Beach Indian River Mall, and I started sending out emails, and I've been posting on Facebook, Twitter, you name it.
It's a lot of work, though.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. It really is.
I got together a whole bunch of authors, and here we are.
And they had a good time today. I'll tell you what. You know, and I know it's the mall, and it's not like when we were young. When we were young, everybody was at the mall.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really not like that anymore. It's harder, you know, do the sales thing at the mall.
It is.
But at the same time, I'll tell you, you can't ask for a better place to meet readers.
That's right.
To talk to people and to be a part of our authors community.
That's correct.
Because I had as much fun today talking to the authors to my left and to my right as I would have had selling books all day.
Right.
Because you learn so much.
You do.
And it challenges you, and it makes you a better writer.
Right. And people just come up to you and they tell you stories. They tell you stories about, I sold one of my good things. I shortened it up to good things. And she's like, well, my husband's Jewish, so I'm going to pass this on to my husband, and he's going to pass it on to his mother. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's how it is. And people
now,
just
we would much rather, if you can, buy one for yourself, hide it in the closet, and make them buy their own.
Yes. Because
we like to eat.
That's right. And don't forget the reviews.
That's right. Leave reviews. We love stars.
We love stars, yeah.
Stars are better than candy bars for us. So the good things always happen in springtime.
Yes.
Was it a little bit different?
It was a little bit different. I had to do a lot of research.
Historical romance.
Yes.
The romance was in there, but it was a historical book. It really was.
That's correct.
And it's a period piece.
That's correct.
Harder to write.
Yes.
It's harder to write outside of the time that we understand, right?
Right.
So, what were the challenges that you faced, right? You know, with good things.
Well, I had to do a lot of research because when there were scenes, certain scenes in the book that actually related to the history part of it, you had to make sure you get it right because readers are not stupid. They are absolutely very smart, and they will call you on it. So I made sure that I got my history right.
Especially if it's something that has already captured the popular imagination.
Right.
World War II has such a huge following of people who follow, whether it's Holocaust stories or war stories or just, you know, European history during World War II or American history during World War II. There's so many niches, but it's a huge following.
Oh, it is.
And they have no problem letting you know when you get things wrong.
Oh, absolutely, they don't.
And it is, because it's such a different era. We're talking only 70 years ago, 65 years ago. Yeah. And yet, it's night and day to the world we live in today.
Oh, it sure is.
And so it takes a lot, there's a lot of research that goes into that.
It sure does.
Yeah. How did you develop, when you were building your characters for that era, were there any people that you looked at in particular that you kind of based your characters on?
Well, my main characters, Charlotte and Georg, they are actually based on my husband's grandparents.
That is
They
awesome.
were a true interfaith couple who they didn't escape Germany because they came during the Weimar.
Okay.
And they came to Florida, strange enough, I don't know why, but I based my characters on them. It's the actual real names, Fisher with the C, the whole 9 yards. I got her last name, and so I had to do the family history first to prepare my characters, and then I had to go and do the rest of the history for the setting.
So you're dropping them in the period, you're researching, so you know what their lives were like.
Right.
What was the most surprising thing that you learned during your research? What kind of stood out as, wow, you know, I just didn't know that? Because we know so much about that era.
Right.
But you know, sometimes in your research you find out little tidbits or facts.
What really amazed me was the fact about the German, what do they call that machine that, oh, I mentioned it in my book. I'm blacking out, I'm sorry. Anyway, it's the machine that they used to I'm blacking out.
It's okay. It's okay.
Anyway, it's, what did they call it? The Germans had it, and then the Americans somehow got the secret to this machine.
The Enigma machine.
The Enigma, that's correct.
Yes,
Thank
the
you
Enigma
so much.
machine.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Anyway, so that,
I just had to see where you were going.
Yes,
I got it. The
it was
machine.
the Enigma, and I was mesmerized by that because I'm like,
Popular culture
wow.
will know the Enigma machine because of Benjamin Cumberbatch's The Imitation Game, which is about the scientist who broke the code from the Enigma machine.
Who broke the code.
Yes.
Correct. So when I learned that, I was amazed by that. I really enjoyed that part, and I learned a lot.
It is it's World War II. Now, World War I gets credit for being one of the first mechanized wars because the tank was invented and some things like that. But World War II was probably one of, it goes down in history as being the war that brought science, which has always had a very passive role in the 20th century.
Right.
Science is about bringing about a better future. Early on, way back to Da Vinci, science was used to do warfare, but it wasn't applied across the board until World War II. And things like advanced code breaking and computerized sciences, things like, you know, the mechanized, you know, we took the tank from being this big clumsy thing in World War I to being these incredible technological machines in World War II.
Absolutely.
So we applied science in the most destructive and brutal way.
Yeah, and you could say that the Enigma was probably one of the first computers.
It really was. It really was. It was incredible. I can't, my mind doesn't even begin to fathom the math that is done to make that work.
Absolutely.
We have to wrap it up. We've been hanging out with our good friend Joanne Fisher, and she's going to wave that card over there until I say bye-bye. So I will thank our friends, our good friends at Pound the Grape in Melbourne, Florida, our friend author Yvonne Mason at Off the Chain Radio, Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, Some Unique Magazine. These are the people who share our videos all over the World Wide Web. We hope that you will too. Share these great authors, artists, filmmakers, creative minds of all kinds. Share them across the web. Support the indie artist community. We've been hanging with author Joanne Fisher, the author of Good Things Always Happen in Springtime. Check down below for links. In the meantime, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next. Awesome,
all right.
Joanne.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.